With the first competitive season since 2012 featuring multiple teams fighting for race wins, Formula One is finally back. But for how long? In 2026, we have new engines, new aero regulations, and another street circuit. Will everything achieved under current regulations be lost? Or are we in for an even more competitive field and exciting races? Formula One peaked in the early 2000s for me, V10 and later V8 engines, small and nimble cars that could overtake in Monaco, and overall amazing looking cars. The sport always had 17 to 19 races, with real circuits like Sepang International Circuit, Nürburgring, and the Hockenheimring, circuits that actually improved the cars, pushed the drivers to their limits, and made them extract everything out of it. Then 2010 and 2020 arrived, and we got hybrid V6 turbo engines, and the introduction of DRS and the halo for safety. And we still had decent looking cars, but also got absurd looking wings, front noses, and increasing weight. We got more races, up to 21 in total. More street circuits and Korea, the Nürburgring and Sepang disappeared from the calendar. In 2021, we had a leap year because of COVID, but in 2022, we got new regulations and new cars, with the return of ground effect floors, larger 18-inch wheels, and still hybrid engines. At this point, Formula One had changed a lot. We got more American races, with Miami in 2022 and Las Vegas in 2023. A dominant force in Red Bull Racing and Max Verstappen, as with every regulation change. Now, in 2024, we finally have competition. Red Bull started strong, but after 5 races, McLaren came up with an amazing update. They closed the gap and currently are stronger than Red Bull Racing. This year, we already have 7 different race winners. In 2022 and 2023, we had 5 different winners combined. Formula One is on a high. Updates, setup changes, and specific circuits can shake up the whole top 10. It's Red Bull Racing, McLaren, Mercedes, and Ferrari fighting every weekend for a podium spot. But with 2025 and 2026 approaching, this could change. Historically, almost every top team shifts their focus to 2026 instead of 2025. This could mean 2025 might still be competitive, which is great. A lower ranked team might surprise us. In 2026, it's almost certain that we'll see one team dominate again. Every regulation change has proven this, and this is something Formula One never seems to learn. I totally understand the need to develop new cars, keep innovating, and show that Formula One is the best racing series. But why would we only use regulations for just 4 years? It's possible to keep the same regulations for a longer period and just make minor tweaks. These minor tweaks can still shake up the order and give the smaller teams an opportunity to come closer. We already have a much closer field than in recent years. This is due to the budget cap, aero development restrictions based on the team's finishing position, and the long lifespan of the current engine regulations. Why would you change something that finally works? This isn't in favor of the sport, but it is in favor of FIA, FOM, and Formula One. They get another opportunity to show how innovative Formula One is, create a new order, and find new ways to promote the sport. I get it, it's a business, and they need to earn money. My question is, why would you change something that isn't broken? This goes back to 2008 for me. Cars were 4.8 meters long, 1.8 meters wide, and they just looked racy. The cars could overtake on every circuit. We didn't get DRS trains, except the trolley train, and they were always on a knife's edge. They also only weighed around 600 kilos, which meant you could race hard with them. To show how much the cars grew and gained weight, I could go on, but these graphics say it all. From 2000 to 2009, it was quite stable, around 600 kilos. That increased to 798 kilos in 2024. Absolutely mind-blowing. The length went from 4.5 meters to almost 5.5 meters. But to explain it visually, look at these images. The left car looks like a toy my nephew uses, and the right one, it's a boat. The size of the current Formula One car is actually shocking. It's around the length of a Dodge Ram, and we as fans are frustrated because we're not seeing as many overtakes as back in the day. But before we continue with the video and my further explanation about the problems with Formula One, I just want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. Cars are getting smaller in 2026, which is great, but 30 centimeters and 30 kilograms of weight reduction, it isn't enough. DRS will be gone, but we'll get an X and Z mode with active aerodynamics controlled by the drivers, the return of a push-to-pass button and narrower wheels to save weight. The cars will get 100% sustainable fuel, but also more electric power. It will be close to a 50-50 fuel and energy situation. Once again, why are you trying to improve something that was already fine? 100% sustainable fuel is something I understand. With everything going on in the world, this can be a good step. I just don't understand why we need to make Formula 1 a semi-Formula E racing series. Sustainable fuels can also be used in V8s or V10s, which will improve the sound of the cars and entertainment value, something Formula 1 is so focused on. The real reason they do this is to attract more engine manufacturers. About the car sizes, we can't get back to the small cars of the 2000s. The hybrid engines are too big, the safety structures in the cars can't shrink that much, and bigger fuel tanks are also a problem. But it is definitely possible to shrink the cars more than just 30 centimeters. With all the advanced technology the Formula 1 teams have available, they can make the cars smaller. This will also reduce downforce, drag, and speed, but on the other hand, it will improve racing because there's more track to race on, nicer looking cars, and more entertainment. Okay, enough about the cars. You know what Formula 1 also won't learn? That normal circuits are way better than street circuits, and I'm not even mentioning the number of races we have. With sprint races included, the 2024 season has 30 races. The sprint races add nothing to Formula 1 if you ask me. I do have to say that if you attend the Grand Prix with a sprint weekend, there is more excitement. The problem with sprint races is that they give away the result of the main race. This then results in a more boring race on Sunday. Not what we want, right? In terms of circuits, we could easily lose 5 tracks. Jeddah, Miami, Baku, Las Vegas, and Qatar could disappear. Okay, Jeddah gave us a good race in 2021 with Verstappen versus Hamilton. Miami is always a bit boring. Baku did deliver, but it's a street circuit. Las Vegas was better than I expected, and Qatar is just a no. Not only because of the track, but also the physical torture it puts on drivers. As I said in the beginning, I want real circuits. Give me back Sepang, the Nürburgring, or the Hockenheimring, or both of them. The Korean Grand Prix was great, and Istanbul Park is also way better than what we have now. Yes, a global expansion is good for all the fans around the world, for the manufacturers and the sponsors, but the good circuits have to be removed for that. I would much rather watch fewer races on proper tracks than another new street circuit. And what do we get? The Madrid Grand Prix in 2026 instead of Barcelona, a semi-permanent circuit through Madrid. Okay, Barcelona is not the most exciting race, but I mentioned plenty of other circuits that did have fantastic races. Please, Formula 1, listen to the real fans and not the Drive to Survive fanbase. I could go on about the weird regulations, temporary changes to the qualification format, or point structure, but it will all come to the same conclusion. Don't touch it. Don't try and fix what works. Formula 1 is the most iconic racing sport, and I don't want it to be ruined just because of money. But honestly, this is exactly what is happening. Hopefully, someone stops it. Now you know everything that is wrong with the sport. But what about social media or the British media? Two things that harm the sport as well. All the toxicity and hate on social media are unnecessary, and the British media fueling hate towards the non-British drivers too. I highly suggest watching one of those videos because if you like this one, you'll definitely like one of those.